Question number one. So, what do you do when you have legalistic parents in your youth ministry? And it's a good question because I've had a few in mine, and my personality. If you haven't detected that, as nice as I am on camera most of the time, I am not one who um, will put up with it for the most part with legalism. Now, there's a difference here. I think you have to judge based on the parents you have. Are these people of deep conviction or are these people of deep control? Right? I think you have to determine that off the bat. Are these people just trying to live, are these parents just trying to live their life, raise their kids in such a way out of a deep conviction, or are they using that um, that superior type of high-minded religiosity? Are they doing that to be able to control situations? And if you can discern, first of all, if it's conviction, then hang with them. You should love, by the way, you should love them no matter what. Okay. What I'm saying is that once you've discerned and said, okay, these parents are of deep religious conviction, they truly believe it, they believe it is scriptural, whatever that may be. The goal isn't to fight with them. The goal is to say, look, they have a conviction. It's not your conviction. It's not the conviction of the church or the youth ministry you lead or any of those things, but it's their conviction. And I think you have to respect convictions. Uh, if you discern then that it is control, that they're out to use that hyper religiosity, that hyper, uh, uh, you know, um, hardcore Pharisaical type of mentality to control the situation or to get things to go their way, then I think that's an entirely different thing. Uh, so I think right off the bat, if you're working with those kinds of parents, number one, love them both, whether they're Pharisees or whether they're people of deep conviction. People of deep conviction are not necessarily Pharisees. People of deep conviction can have deep convictions and not push it off onto somebody else. Say, that's our conviction. We do this. We don't expect anybody else. In fact, Paul is pretty clear about this. Is look, if you do this, it is a sin to you. It is a deeply held personal conviction that says, look, it's a sin to me because if the Lord told me not to do it, then it's a sin unto me, right? So number one, love them. Number two, talk to your pastor. Make sure your pastor is in the loop when you know that you have, and it doesn't matter if it's if it's bothering you, then obviously you want to make sure your pastor knows, and you want to make sure that they have an idea of how you're feeling about it. So talk to your pastor and let them know that if they don't know already, because they may be new to the church or something like that. But always keep your pastor in the loop on these things, because if it does turn to where it's a control situation, they're not just trying to control. It's guaranteed that that controlling spirit, that control nature, isn't just going to manifest itself in the youth ministry. It's going to manifest eventually in the church. And then number three, I think you have to plan accordingly. If you have people of deep conviction who say, listen, we don't let our kids go to, swimming parties because we just don't believe in our kids wearing bathing suits or whatever that may be. Don't make a big deal about it. If you have and out of conviction, maybe you say, listen, I'm not going to do this because I have this one kid. I'm not going to make them feel separated because they're following the convictions of their parents. And it may not even be that kid's conviction. You can't do anything about that. That's the way their parents are raising them. And you've got to let their parents raise them. And so, once again, it's not about isolating that kid. If they have adopted the conviction, then it's their conviction as well. If they have not, either way, I don't think it's a good look for us as youth pastors to separate them, like make a big deal about this new swimming party thing that you have going on, and then you're like, well, sorry for the rest of you that can't go. Keep that in mind, keep that in consideration, and then plan accordingly to what you have.